Don't forget to leave a like if you're stopping by, and if you're new to Geekdom 101, remember to subscribe and enable all notifications so that way you don't miss a single video. We discuss all things Dragon Ball here, movies, anime, manga, and even some video games. We've been here for 10 years and many more to come. I thank you for your continued support. Let's get to the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Ball Daima episode 19, Betrayal. I'm going to do the same thing that I did last week. It's going to be a non-spoiler thumbnail for the first 5 hours that the video is up. So when the notification gets sent out, you should not get the spoiler thumbnail because I'm not going to put it up for several hours if I even decide to do it. I haven't decided yet exactly what I'm going to do, but I am going to do the best not to spoil you. If you clicked on this video on accident, just be aware we're going to go into the episode. We're going to go into spoilers for the episode. So if you do not want to be spoiled, shut everything off, get off social media, get off the web, do what you can, get your phone in focus mode or do not disturb mode. Whatever you can do if you do not want to see anything, because even the official accounts are going to get into it. So speaking of getting into it, let's get into episode 19. Last episode was episode 18, where we saw Goku mutate into Super Saiyan 4, the Daima version, thanks to Neba's magic. But the cliffhanger for that episode was that Glorio summoned the dragon at Irene Sue's discretion, and she wanted him to wish for her to become the Grand Demon King, or Queen in her case, I guess it would be, right? To rule the demon realm. Now, that was the cliffhanger. He started making the wish in Namekian, and that takes us to episode 19. All right, so spoilers, here we go. The first 10, 15 seconds of this episode is what people have wanted. Y'all thought they were going to wait till the very end to do this, which I don't blame you. When I first got into this and started looking at what they were doing, I thought they were going to wait till the very end, but no. Goku and the gang get turned back into adults again, which means that Glorio didn't do the right thing. And this is all, obviously, if you watch the previous episode, there's that part where he's thinking about the adventure he had and how they kind of bonded. Even though they weren't super close, they still bonded. And they still went on this adventure together. So what happens is they all become adults again. Now, there's a couple of pretty big revelations in this episode that I'm going to get to. First of all, if you're a fan of Vegeta, this episode was designed to be a dream for Vegeta fans, because Vegeta took about 75% of this episode. It's kind of, I didn't think, I knew that Vegeta was going to fight him in this episode. People had asked me on Super Chats, I was like, yeah, I know he's still in the fight, but I didn't think it was going to be this much. So Vegeta fights Gomah for the majority of the episode, and we actually get, a lot of people wanted this, we get the adult variant of Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. First, he fights him in base, and it's interesting because in base, he actually manages to hit Gomah a few times. Then he goes into Super Saiyan 3 adult. So, the big revelation, the first one I want to get to, is that the decrease in power that they received from becoming children from Gomah's wish was much bigger than we had all thought, including me. I knew that they were obviously nerfed a little bit, but not like this. They were even more nerfed than I had even anticipated, right? So Vegeta starts fighting Gomah. First of all, as expected, the animation is crisp, it's clean, it's beautiful. And as if adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta wasn't enough. And it's funny because I should mention this. He's when he first becomes an adult again, I guess they could feel that they have their power back or they have a boost in power. So he tells Goku, I'll handle this. He's like, I'll take him on. Which, that's a very in-character move for Vegeta. I'll go first, None of this rock, paper, scissors thing. So Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 fights Goma, and at first he's doing okay. He is. Then we actually see a beam struggle at one point, and because Vegeta busts out, as if Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta wasn't enough, Vegeta busts out a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta Final Flash. That was cool. I mean, this thing was massive. The art is going to be everywhere. I'm sure of it. There's going to be art of this all over the place. You understand what I'm saying? All over the place. And what happens is the blast is so powerful that it sends Goma deep into the skies. Like the way it looked, like many of you have already seen it. Like he flies up into the sky, right? And then like he's in the sky. And then you see like these beams of light coming down. So they're basically trying to make you think that Vegeta got him. And for a second there, I was like, okay, I know this is not the end because there's still more to come. But I was watching it like, did he really hurt him? But it turns out that the third eye kicked in once again. And well, the third eye... Once again, I don't want to have to keep repeating myself, but the third eye is so damn powerful that, like, it seems to grow in power, and Goma doesn't seem to know how to utilize its max power. He keeps tapping into it more and more, and he gets stronger, and he actually gets even bigger. He grows even bigger in height. So now we have, like, if you include his pre-King Gomah form, Goma has like 4 different sizes, so to speak, right? So I wonder when they put him in Sparking Zero, I wonder how they're going to do that. And I also wonder if they're going to put Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, both adult and kid variations. Like there's a lot that when you really think about it, right? When it comes to the video games, there's a lot they could put in there from these episodes. I mean, a ton. I would, for sure, go out of your way to see this if you haven't seen it. I'm hoping you have because I know some people don't care about spoilers, but, you know, if you don't, then go out of your way to see it because no matter what I can describe to you, like, my descriptions can't make up for actually seeing this yourself. Like, the fluidity... the fight between Vegeta and Goma, like there's a lot to break down, lots of punches. You know, Goma was using a combination of, well, he actually went physical for a lot of the fight. Like he went physical for a lot of the fight, but he used a bit of his magic power. So the third eye again saves his rear end. That is yet again, the third eye saves him. So what ends up happening is, as Vegeta's fighting in Super Saiyan 3, he ends up powering back down to base form. Now, when I saw this, the first thing that I thought of was the handicap of Super Saiyan 3, which is that Super Saiyan 3, and this was mentioned in the Majin Buu arc, it is high on energy consumption. Like, when you use that form, you have to, especially with a living body, you have to use up its power to win as fast as possible. And if you don't get the job done quickly, your body can't handle it. That's one of its big drawbacks. You're supposed to be able to finish somebody off quickly with it. And if you can't, then it's going to end up, you know, taking its toll on your body. I also wanted to comment that I know a lot of people wanted to see the fusion bugs. I really thought we were going to see them in this episode. We did not. The fusion bugs were not used in this episode, so those are being saved for the finale for episode 20 of Daima, which I said this on a recent stream, but I don't know if you guys know. I wanted to real quick tell you this in case you don't know, but there was some talk that, you know, what if the last episode of Daima was longer? Because the first episode of Daima was like 32 minutes. It was longer than a traditional episode by about 8 to 10 minutes, give or take. As far as what Fuji TV wrote on their site, the last episode of Daima is still going to be the same length, which means that they're going to have to cram a lot of stuff in there. I mean, they're already adults again, so we don't have to worry about like the wish being made after, because they're already adults again in this episode, so that eliminates that. So they'll probably have the episode 20 will probably be half the episode will be a big fight, and then the other half will be saying our goodbyes. You know, that's my guess. But there's a lot they have to cram in, and Sheeta is coming back for next week's episode, so that's going to be wild to say the least. But yeah, so Vegeta ends up powering back down to base, and he still wants to fight. He still wants to take on Gomah. You gotta respect the balls, man. You gotta respect the balls on that man. But I will be honest with you about this. Even though they got their powers back with their bodies growing up again, I'll be honest. Like, I thought this was foolish because Gomah has shown how powerful he is. They should all be jumping him. Goku, Vegeta, Kudu. They should all be. Tamagami 1. All of them should be in there trying to beat this guy because, you know, and again, this goes back to the whole, like, Saiyan pride / martial artist pride of Goku and Vegeta. Same thing they did in the Buu Saga where, if you remember, Vegeta broke the Potara, and as a reader or as a viewer, you're like, what are you doing? This Majin Buu thing it has wiped out the planet. Like, what are you doing? Oh, well, we should fight him on our own merit. And it's like, no, you know, it's that, like, you know, Dragon Ball, consistent Dragon Ball idea where we as people look at these characters and say, okay, you're making the problem a bit more hard on yourself and you're being a bit stubborn, but at the same time, I understand why they did it, but it's still, I'm just like, just get in there, finish them off. Like, you know, get back, even though we know everything's going to be all right, because everything's always going to be all right in this world. So Vegeta ends up stepping down. I'm going to go more into that in a minute. I got some stuff to tell you about Arinsu and all that in just a moment. But the episode ends with Goku basically tagging in. He tags in. This is very much like the Majin Buu, the final battle with Kid Buu on the Supreme Kai planet, where Goku fights him, then Vegeta, then Goku, and, you know, they kind of tag in and out. But here, Goku steps in, and then, again, like the Majin Buu saga, he does the same thing that he did to Majin Buu when they first fought on the in the skies above West City. And so Goku goes through all the Super Saiyan forms. So he goes to 1, he goes to 2, and it's the same thing. Super Saiyajin 2. Like, you know, the same thing. And again, I'm hoping that people will watch this episode and listen to how Nozawa does Kid Goku versus Adult Goku. I've seen some people say they sound the same. They do not. They do not. Play a clip from Kid Goku and Adult Goku for Nozawa. It does not sound the same. Goku's voice is different. She does deepen it up a bit for the Adult Goku. So he goes to Super Saiyan 3, and there's all kinds of sparks and energy, and then he's like, and... So Goku powers up, taps into the remaining magic power that Neba gave him in the previous episode. He's charging up, and what ends up happening is, like, this shakes the entire demon realm, because they actually show a scene of Tamagami 2, like, just chilling, and it's almost like he can sense the power. Like, even though there's 3 demon worlds, and they're, you know, they're not super close, but they're not super far apart, they're still far apart as far as, like, you know, they should not be able to hear or sense anything from each other's worlds, but he ends up powering up. I mean, again, I cannot describe to you how this looks. I can't. Like, I genuinely can't. You have to see it for yourself. It kind of reminded me of Goku's Super Saiyan 3 transformation in the Janemba movie. Remember how they had, like, the wacky effects, and like they go all out with it. And then he's back into Super Saiyan 4, the adult version. Now, I want to clarify, this is not like Super Saiyan 4 from GT. He doesn't have the black hair. This is the same Super Saiyan 4 from episode 18 with the magenta hair. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's The GT Super Saiyan 4, I got a lot of questions about this week. People were asking about like the moon and the golden great ape. That only applies to the GT version of Super Saiyan 4. The Daima version of Super Saiyan 4 is triggered by magic. Two different ways of getting the transformation. And I just did a video a couple days ago, Super Saiyan 4 Transformation Explained, where I go in there and I explain like how this was triggered and what Neva did and all that. So it's that version. Don't mix up the GT Super Saiyan 4 with the Daima Super Saiyan 4. And like I said before, the form is called internally Super Saiyan 4. I don't know if they're going to change the name of it with merchandise. I saw some animators talking about how it's called Super Saiyan 4, so it'll probably just stay being called that, even though it doesn't work anywhere near how the other ones work. You understand what I'm saying? Super Saiyan 4 does not work like the previous 3 Super Saiyan forms. You can't get there from training. It was triggered by Neba's magic. So he taps into it again. So it's the same thing just with adult Goku. Obviously, they're going to sell a ton of merch, a ton of action figures. I'm sure of it. You know I'm right about that. SH Figure Art's going to put out the kid version and the adult version. I do wonder, though, about Sparking Zero if you're going to get both, because there's a lot of potential DLC with that game, as well as other Dragon Ball games, too. So basically, the cliffhanger is that he goes into 4, and then the next episode preview shows Goku fighting Gomah in Super Saiyan 4. Now, we still have the fusion bugs. That is still something that is going to come into play. I thought it would be in this episode, but I was wrong. It's going to be in the last episode. That is still something that we're going to see, which tells me that Super Saiyan 4 is not going to get the job done. Now, I don't know if it's because the third eye really is that strong, or because Goku actually runs out of magic power. I'm not sure. I couldn't even tell you because I don't know. Like, I don't know how they're going to finish off this fight. I'd be lying if I told you I did know. I don't know. I don't know everything. But that's the cliffhanger. And the next episode preview, we see like a little bit of the fight between SS4 Goku and Gomah. But like they've done the last couple weeks, right? They only show a little tiny bit. Like, they show stuff that is not going to spoil the big surprises in the second half of the episode or in just the later episode. Remember, these next episode previews for Daima are usually really short, like 5 seconds. So they keep a lot of the stuff a secret. So the fusion is still being kept a secret. It's still coming though, so be patient with that. Anyways, let me get back to some of the story details before we close out the review, and I want to give you my thoughts on it. Action-wise, I had a good time with this episode. Even though, I'm going to tell you this, 18 and 19 are both good episodes. I think I might like 18 a little bit more, just because the music and the transformation sequence and the incredible, like, you know, how they were running and they were all teaming up. Like, it was just explosive, right? This one was not bad. I'm not saying it was bad at all, like, but I'm saying, like, if last week's episode was like last week's episode, I think I like it a tiny bit more than this week's, but not by much. You understand what I'm saying? Not by much. I think Vegeta fans are gonna like this one a lot more because of how much TV time he got. So anyways, there was this moment where Arinsu like talks to Glorio and she's like, "Did you forget what I did for you?" Which I was like, I wonder what that's about. And then she ends up firing him. So she's salty, but deep down inside she knows this was necessary, or at least Glorio thinks it was necessary, because Gomah's a problem, including for her. And Glorio actually like thanks her. So I want to know what's up. I want to know. So when Glorio goes back to the group, the good guys, Pansy is like thanking him, everyone's happy, and then Glorio says, or Goku says Glorio's name right for the first time. So that arc of Goku getting his name wrong is over. Wacky, man. So Arinsu says that back when Abra had the third eye, he was able to put it in and remove it. So the whole thing is they have to get that third eye out of Gomah. So she asked Majin Buu to go and get her a book, like this spell book. This character is so much like Toa. I mean, just a lot, man. Like, there's so many similarities. And also, during the Vegeta fight with Gomah, Goku and Piccolo talk about how the third eye, I mean, you see it, it's regenerating him, it's preventing him from taking damage. This is saving Gomah, bro. And you see it, every time you think he's done, the third eye swoops in and saves the day. So, Majin Buu's reading through the book because he can read fast. It's funny. And they find out, Rintu and talk about how if they can hit Gomah 3 times in the back of the head hard enough, they can knock that third eye off his forehead. This is very similar to Cell Max. Remember how the Dr. Hedo put in that failsafe in Cell Max's forehead, and if you hit it, you can knock it, like, you know, beat it or kill it or whatever, or damage it. That's what this is, except it's the back of the head. It's a very similar idea. Here we have a character that resembles Jiren as far as his clothing goes, but also has like the size of Cell Max and a similar weak spot. So again, like we've been talking about, Toriyama and Toei were borrowing from a lot of different eras of Dragon Ball and like a lot of different characters, including stuff from the modern era. It's not just GT. That's why I don't like calling it GT 2.0, because yeah, they are bringing back GT concepts, most notably Super Saiyan 4. That's the big one, right? That's the obvious one. But they're borrowing from a lot. Like, there's a lot of things that they're taking ideas from and kind of cramming it into this show. Goku comes up with a strategy with Piccolo where he wants to fight Gomah, and then Piccolo can go from behind and hit him, maybe even with the special beam cannon, maybe even with that. Goku doesn't straight up say that, but I assume, again, it's similar. To me, it's almost too similar to Cell Max. I think that would be a bit too derivative, but yeah, that remains to be seen. So, crazy episode. I think a lot of folks are going to say it's their favorite episode. Some are going to say it's the last one. Some are going to say it's the one next week. Episode 20, Zenkai, coming up next week. So, what did you think? If you saw the episode, let me know in the comments below. These clips are going to go viral everywhere. I really hope that you guys, if you were ducking spoilers, you were able to avoid it, because, dude, I opened up my Facebook, it's there. I opened up my Instagram, it's there. Like, before the episodes even drop on Crunchyroll, before they drop on any of the streaming sites, people have pictures when they air on Fuji. That's the world of the internet. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with my breakdown. Take care. Have a good one. See you then.